Guys, hope everyone is doing good. This is Pratishtha, your IELTS tutor, and in this video, we are actually not going to not learn, but not anything related to IELTS, but we will actually see how to manage our time, and I'll be giving you some of the tips that you can use to manage your time more effectively, right? And because that, I mean, just practicing your reading, writing, speaking, I mean, it's okay, but then you also need to practice managing time, right? Because that's essential too. So now I will share my screen so that we are able to take a look at it. You can jot down some notes if you want to, and we will discuss based on that. So let me just go up and see what's the agenda for today. So we will see some time management tips, right? We will learn how to manage our time more effectively, especially during the IELTS exam. We'll discuss strategies for each section. Practice applying time management techniques to improve your performance. Time management is super important. I cannot stress it enough, right? You need to manage your time because if the time goes away, you cannot change anything at all. And develop a personal time management plan, right? Make sure you have something of your own. And that's pretty much it. Why is time management important? So IELTS exam in itself is time bound. You have limited amount of time to complete each section, and manage your time effectively will make sure that you can answer all the questions without feeling pressured, because usually when you're pressured, you often mark, wrong answers. So if you have effective time management, it will also reduce stress and it will allow you to, perform better during exams too. I would suggest use, so first is time management and listening, because that's the first task. Use the pauses, right? So before each test, you will have some sort of pause. So use that pause to read the questions, use that pause to think about it. Do not really panic if you have missed something. So if you feel you have missed something, move forward, right? Think about it a little bit later on when you have that pause, right? You don't really have to stay stuck on it. Just leave it, focus on the different other aspects, and then use the remaining minute at the end. So at the very end, they would give you some time. Go back to this question, think about what was the conversation, what was the context. Even if you don't remember the exact answer, make sure you are just following your gut and using something out of context. For reading, allocate time for each passage, right? Make sure that you have given time for each passage. You have at least 20 minutes, right? For all three of them, because it's just a 60-minute answer. Try to save time by skimming and speed reading. So skim and scam, right? Just go with the general idea. Don't really go into details. Don't spend too long on one question. Again, this is given no matter what kind of question it is or what section it is. Don't spend a lot of time just on one single question. And then again, practice speed reading. This is something that I already discussed. We need to be able to, read fast. If you saw, I think 2 or 3 videos before, if you saw, I was reading really fast, right? And that is something that you should also aim for and should be able to do as well, right? Um, Managing time would basically and eventually allow you to, complete all your answers and make sure that you have all the answers written, you're not pressurized, and you have just written the answers. So I cannot stress it enough, but let's move forward and go to writing. So tips for managing time in IELTS would be that divide your time between tasks. Again, you have 2 tasks, 20 minutes on the first task, I think 40 minutes on the next task, because that is a bigger one. It's an essay. So I would suggest spend just 20 minutes on task 1 and other 40 minutes on task 2. Allocate more time to it. Plan before writing, right? So make sure that you spend at least 5 minutes before writing and 5 minutes after writing so that you can revise. So if it is a 20-minute task, 10 minutes 10 minutes should be there for actual writing, 5 minutes for planning, and 5 minutes for revision. Always make sure you have that watch with you. You are able to, look at the time, how much time is left. And also leave some time for proofreading. Proofreading again is revision. You make sure your grammar is correct, your structure is correct, there are no punctuation errors, so on and so forth. For speaking exam, make sure that you are answering clearly and concisely, right? um Avoid giving one word answer, and when the teacher, like when the invigilator has asked you question, make sure it's not too long, right? It's not a 1 minute task, it's not a monologue. Only in the case of monologue will you speak for 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes. But if you have direct questioning and answering, just like speak for 40 seconds, right? And just try to explain it. Whatever you are saying, do not say it in one word, always explain. Even if the invigilator has not asked you to explain, explain, right? Use your preparation time. Always write keywords while preparing. Do not write the complete sentences. Do not write the complete dialogues or anything. Take time to think. It's okay to take pause. So take a 1 second or a 2 second pause. Use some fillers and do not, I would say, speak really fast. Do not try to rush. And fourth is that you need to keep talking. So make sure that you're speaking fluently. You are talking. You do not have a long pause. Small pauses are fine, but not the long one. Then you can just try and do a mock test by yourself and try to figure out, like, try to time manage it, or try to put a clock on your side and then try to do it. Some common mistakes is spending too much time on difficult questions. Again, if you face a difficult question, just move forward. I cannot stress it enough. Just move forward. Don't waste time on that difficult question. Do not throw away your preparation time. Preparation time is extremely essential. Overall, it's just a 1 or a 2 hour test, right? Overall. But make sure for that 1 or 2 hours, you are extremely focused, right? Um, Rushing through the test, don't rush through the test again, right? Do not rush without thinking carefully. Answer each question with a lot of focus, right? And do not ignore the clock. Make sure you're always looking at the clock and make sure you're managing your time, basically. I would suggest create your own management time, although it is pretty universal, but sometimes some things work for one person and the other thing will not work for the other person, right? So make sure that you have set your personal goals for each section of the test. Make sure you're using all the strategies. Again, we have discussed a lot of strategies. Make sure you are using the ones that work for you, right? And try to practice it with the mock tests. So for today, we learned some time management strategies, which we have been discussing throughout the course as well. We did discuss some common mistakes and tips, right? We practiced applying these time management strategies during mock test. I would suggest now to take a mock test, right? And just try and see if you are able to apply all those strategies. Which strategies work for you, which strategies do not work for you. Make sure you are using the exact same thing over and over again in your mock test. So when it's the time, to give your final IELTS exam, you are super prepared and you are able to do all these things. So with that being said, thank you so much for joining in, and thank you so much for listening to your time management skills and time management strategies. I hope you'll be able to come across your skills that suits you and, I mean, your practice style. So I'll see you in the next class.